Skullgirls is one of the most stylish and unique fighting games out there, and one thing that really sets it apart is its supers, or as the game calls them, Blockbusters. These moves aren't just about damage, they're about spectacle, personality and flair. Skullgirls itself is basically an homage to fighting games and FGC in general. A game for fans, made by fans, and it wears that proudly. The roster is packed with clever nods and references, not just to classic fighters, but to anime, movies and all kind of media. And nowhere is that more obvious than in its supers. Some are hilarious, some are terrifying, and some are just plain jaw-dropping. But all of them carry that signature Skullgirls charm. Without further ado, here are the top 10 most stylish supers in Skullgirls. Robo-Fortune's systemic circuit breaker is one of the most chaotic and entertaining supers in Skullgirls. Instead of a clean knockout, she basically overloads her own body, taking no damage in the process while unleashing a gigantic explosion that engulfs the screen. What really says it though are the robotic meows she busts out during the countdown. They start off calm, but as the timer ticks closer to zero, they grow more frantic and desperate, making the whole thing both hilarious and stressful. It's a perfect mix of comedy, tension and spectacle. When it comes to pure style, Eliza takes things to another level with her Lady of Slaughter. This isn't just a super, it's a full-on performance. She calls upon Sekhmet, the ancient parasite living inside her, and transforms the battle into a blood-soaked stage of carnage. What makes it stand out is how it seamlessly blends elegance and horror. Eliza remains still, transforming into a bloody sarcophagus, while Sekhmet wreaks havoc on the opponent, chaining together ruthless and lightning-fast blade strikes, a blade seemingly forged from solidified blood. The sequence culminates with Sekhmet forming into a massive hieroglyph that delivers the final devastating blow. Lady of Slaughter is Skullgirls at its most theatrical, equal parts beautiful and terrifying. If there is one thing Annie knows how to do, it's staying in the spotlight, and Photobob is the perfect showcase of her star power. Instead of going for a physical flashy beatdown, Annie whips out a stack of her own photos and starts autographing them, bragging about how valuable they are. Then with impeccable comedic timing, her sidekick Sagan grabs the photos and slaps them violently into the opponent's face. What makes it even better is the presentation. With each slap, Annie and Sagan strike over the top poses, complete with alternate outfits, as if they're mugging for a camera during a photo shoot. It's goofy, stylish, and absolutely dripping with self-awareness. Remember, Annie isn't just playing a superhero for the cameras, she really is one. She's also far older than she looks, thanks to her immortality. Photobob perfectly captures Annie's whole character, a real hero wrapped in the packaging of a celebrity idol. If Annie is a superstar, then Beowulf is her counterpart in the wrestling ring, a flashy showman who loves the spotlight just as much. As one of the only two male characters in Skullgirls, Beowulf brings a unique kind of bravado to the roster, and his three-wolf moonsault is the perfect reflection of that. The super starts with him chugging down what looks suspiciously like milk, before launching into a series of three brutal uppercuts that send his opponent flying sky high. But Beowulf doesn't stop there. He follows them into the air, striking a dramatic pose against the backdrop of a glowing moon, while three stylized wolves appear, howling in unison. Finally, as the opponent comes crashing back to Earth, Beowulf dives down with his entire body, crushing them in a massive slam for the grand finale. It's over the top, it's theatrical, and it screams pro wrestling flair. Skullgirls has never shied away from slipping in cheeky references, and Marie's Weight of Our Will might be the most striking example. The move is an unmistakable homage to Dragon Ball Z's iconic Spirit Bomb. Marie raises her hands skyward, channeling power just like Goku gathering energy for his Genki Dama. It's a perfect fit for her character, blending Skullgirl's dark aesthetic with a playful nod to one of anime's most famous supers. But there is also a deeper layer to the animation. Marie's stance during the move directly recalls a key moment from the game's main story, where she held up a massive collapsing building to protect innocents beneath it. That visual echo makes the super feel both powerful and symbolic, tying together her strength, her burden, and her compassion. If there is one character in Skullgirls who embodies cruelty, it's Black Dahlia. Compared to her, even Marie, the actual main antagonist, feels like a teddy bear. Dahlia thrives in chaos, and her Girls' Night super captures that perfectly. The moves are her summon a group of her loyal lackeys, each armed with their own brand of mayhem. Some rush in with melee weapons, others unload with firearms, and together they create a chaotic flurry of attacks that overwhelm the opponent. What makes it especially intimidating is the randomness. Their behavior changes from use to use. It's a spectacle of pure chaos, amplifying Dahlia's already terrifying presence. With Girls' Night, she doesn't just fight you herself, she turns the entire battlefield into a mob hit. As we all know, Skullgirls is packed with clever nods to other fighting games, but Squigly's Rage of the Dragon wears its inspiration proudly. This super is direct homage to Street Fighter's Akuma and his infamous Raging Demon. Just like the original, Squigly flows eerily toward her opponents, clasps them, and the screen suddenly cuts to black. From there, the spotlight shifts to Leviathan, her faithful parasite companion. He emerges off-screen, grown to an enormous size, and unleashes a devastating blast of fire from his jaws, consuming the opponent in a burst of destructive energy. To drive the reference home, the finisher even includes Japanese script flashing across the screen, just like Akuma's kanji ending. And yes, even the input command to activate it mirrors the Raging Demon. It's stylish, it's terrifying, and it's one of the best examples of Skullgirls' playful respect for fighting game history. If there is any super that perfectly captures Daba's nightmarish nature, it's Nightmare Legion. True to her identity as a formless, grotesque shapeshifter, Double morphs into a dazzling variety of characters from the game, and even into the NPC lady from the tutorial mode while teleporting all around the stage. Each transformation is paired with a brutal attack, hammering the opponent in a relentless, surreal flurry. What makes this super so striking is the chaos of it all. The constant shifts in form, the rapid movements across the screen, and the uncanny way it blends familiar faces with Daba's monstrous essence. It turns what could have been a simple beatdown into a full-on fever dream. The move also feels reminiscent of Athena's Neomax super from KOF 13, where she teleports across the screen while changing outfits with every strike. Is Nightmare Legion a deliberate reference? Knowing Skullgirls' love for borrowing from fighting game history is very possible. Also, is that a done reference at the end? Few supers in Skullgirls feel as cinematic or as chilling as Valentine's Dead on Arrival. The fan favorite nurse assassin sets the tone right away by sealing her victim in a body bag and tossing them into the air. He then leaps up with ninja-like precision, grabs hold of them mid-air, and vanishes off-screen. Moments later, the two come crashing down, not onto the ground, but onto a cold, sterile operating table. From here, the camera shifts completely, putting us in the opponent's perspective. Valentine leans in close, her voice playful but unsettling as she whispers, "Tell me where it hurts." Then the screen turns red, the opponent screams, and for a split second, Valentine's face distorts into a skull. What exactly she does to them is never shown, and honestly, It's probably better that way. Before unveiling the number 1 spot, here's some honorable mentions.
You handle it.
Here we go! And now for something spectacular!
No battery.
Did that major surgery!
Honestly, picking up the number 1 blockbuster in Skullgirls was an easy task all along, as I fell in love with this super the moment I first saw it. Rounding out the list is none other than Peacock, and fittingly, her blockbuster Goodfellas is the flashiest, most unhinged super in the game. For such a goofy-looking cartoon character, Peacock has one of the darkest backstories in Skullgirls, and lore-wise, she is also one of the most powerful. All of that personality comes together here in spectacular fashion. The super begins with Peacock trapping her victim in a sack before summoning her wacky crew of subordinates, living cartoons she brought to life from her own twisted imagination. Together, the gang and Peacock mercilessly kick and stomp the helpless opponent, turning the beatdown into a full-on mob scene. When the lackeys disperse, only one remains, Lenny, the living bomb who keeps pummeling the opponent with a baseball bat. Meanwhile, Peacock casually strolls away, lighting up a cigar. In true mafia boss fashion, she flicks it behind her without looking back, igniting Lenny, who promptly explodes along with the victim. Peacock of course smiles with satisfaction, never even turning towards destruction. The name Goodfellas is itself a direct nod to the classic mafia film Goodfellas, sealing the cinematic flair of the whole move. It's stylish, it's chaotic, it's hilarious, and it perfectly embodies everything that makes Peacock such a standout character. Equal parts cartoon slapstick and ruthless mob execution, Goodfellas isn't just one of Skullgirls' best-looking super, it's the most unforgettable, which is why it earns the number 1 spot. Which of these blockbusters is your favorite? Or perhaps you have another favorite in mind that I didn't mention. Either way, I'd love to read your answer in the comments section below. Special thanks to my patrons for their support. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.